You have been taught to run after everything you desire, to chase, to strive, to work until exhaustion. But here lies the truth. The more you chase, the more you proclaim that it is not yet yours. The act of seeking is the silent admission of lack. When you stop running, when you stand still in the awareness that you already possess it, the thing you desire is drawn to you. For all creation begins and ends within your consciousness. It is not found out there in the marketplace of life. It is born within the quiet chambers of your mind. Close your eyes. See yourself already in possession of the thing you want. Do not wonder how it will come. Do not attempt to rearrange the outer world with your own hands. Instead, rearrange the inner world with the simple act of acceptance. When you know it is already yours, you do not need to seek it. The seed is planted, the harvest is certain. Just as the earth knows how to bring forth the seed without your effort, so too does life know how to deliver what you have claimed in faith. Be still. Rest in the vision. Walk as though it is already done. And you will find, without strain, without struggle, that it comes to you naturally, as surely as dawn follows the night. The more you chase, the more you affirm its absence. Every step taken in desperate pursuit is a silent confession to yourself that you do not yet have what you seek. You may think that chasing is a sign of determination. That constant movement toward your goal proves your commitment. But beneath the surface, it tells another story. A story of lack, of wanting, of believing the thing you desire exists somewhere far away, and the world reflects that belief right back at you. You see, life is not moved by your frantic grasping, it is moved by the state you dwell in. If you live in the state of wanting, you keep creating more wanting. If you live in the state of having, you naturally receive. The mind, when it is restless, sends out a signal of incompleteness. That signal says, I do not yet have it. I must search for it. And life responds, yes, you do not yet have it. Keep searching. This endless cycle is what keeps so many trapped in longing, never realizing that the real key is to stop running and simply claim it as your own in consciousness. Quiet acceptance is not laziness. It is not giving up. It is the most powerful declaration you can make, a declaration that says, it is already mine. When you can sit in the stillness of that knowing, you dissolve the invisible wall between you and your desire. Instead of chasing after it in the outer world, you invite it into your inner world, and from there it must express itself in the outer. Think of the times in your life when something came to you effortlessly. It may have been a person, an opportunity, or even a small, simple joy. You did not wrestle with the universe to make it happen. It flowed toward you naturally, often when you weren't even thinking about it. Why? Because in that moment you were not broadcasting lack. You were at ease. You were aligned with receiving. Chasing has an energy of urgency, and urgency whispers to the world that something is missing. Quiet acceptance carries the energy of fulfillment, and fulfillment tells the world that everything you desire is already in place. This is why the most profound changes happen when you stop struggling. The moment you rest in the assumption that you already have it, your actions, your words, and even your presence begin to match that reality. And reality, being obedient to the state you occupy, aligns itself with your conviction. So instead of running toward what you want, step into it now in your imagination. Live as though it is done. Feel the relief, the joy, the contentment that would be yours if it were already here. Hold that feeling quietly, without grasping, without forcing. Let it settle in you until it feels natural. When you do this, life no longer needs to be chased. It comes. It must come. For you are no longer the seeker. You are the one who has already found. Stillness is the language of receiving. It is in the quiet spaces, when the mind is no longer filled with noise and struggle, that the whispers of life can be heard. Most people believe that to get what they want, they must constantly speak, act, and move. But there is a depth of power in doing nothing outwardly while doing everything inwardly. In stillness, the mind stops scattering its energy in 100 directions and instead becomes a clear, focused channel for the vision you hold. Silence is not empty, it is full of the unseen movements that shape the visible world. When you become still, you are not withdrawing from life, you are aligning with it. The external world moves at its own pace, often slower than our restless desires. But when you step into stillness, you stop fighting the current, and the current begins to carry you exactly where you need to be. Your vision, the one you carry quietly in your heart, thrives in this stillness. When you silence the doubts, the fears, and the endless questions of how and when, the vision is free to grow without being strangled by your interference. The world is full of people who plant a seed in their minds and then dig it up again and again just to check if it's growing. But those who understand the language of receiving know that you plant the seed, water it with belief, and then let the earth do its work in silence. In stillness, you become receptive. You stop pushing and start allowing. You give the unseen forces room to arrange the details in ways your conscious mind could never plan. You begin to notice small nudges, an idea that comes at the right time, a person you meet unexpectedly, a situation that opens a door. These things do not happen by accident. They happen because stillness allowed you to hear and follow the quiet guidance that is always there. Silence deepens your conviction. Words can sometimes weaken belief, especially when spoken in doubt or desperation. But when you hold your vision in the silence of your own being, it becomes sacred. It is yours alone. It grows stronger without the need for outside validation. And the stronger it grows inside, the sooner it must take form outside. This is why the most powerful prayers are not always spoken aloud. They are felt, they are lived in the inner world with such certainty that no one else even knows the silent work that is being done. And yet, the results become visible for all to see. To receive, you must learn to listen. To listen, you must become still. In the quiet, your vision is no longer a dream waiting in the distance. It becomes a reality that you inhabit now. And once you inhabit it within, the outer world has no choice but to match it. Faith lives in the present moment. It is not a distant hope, nor is it a future promise waiting to be fulfilled. It is a living certainty that exists here and now. Many people place their desires in the realm of someday. They imagine that what they want will come when circumstances improve, when they work harder, or when life finally gives them permission. But this is not faith, this is postponement. Faith claims the desire as a present reality. When you say to yourself, "It will happen one day," you unconsciously push it away. You set it in the future, and the future never arrives as anything other than the present. Faith understands this truth. There is only now. The moment you believe something is yours, in this moment it begins to arrange itself in your life. Not tomorrow, not when everything is perfect. Now. Your desire already exists. It is not something you are creating out of nothing. It is something you are aligning with. Just as a radio does not create the song it plays, but simply tunes into the right frequency, you do not create your desire by force. You tune into it by faith. And tuning in means you feel the reality of it now, not as a wish, but as something certain, as something you are already living in consciousness. Faith is not waiting, faith is knowing. The one who waits is unsure, always looking for signs to prove it will happen. The one who knows no longer looks for signs because the proof is already felt within. When you know, your actions, your words, even your posture begin to shift. You speak as someone who already has it. You move as someone who has no doubt. And the world mirrors that certainty back to you. Living in the present moment with faith does not mean ignoring the future. It means understanding that the future you desire is born from the state you hold now. If you live in a state of not yet, your future will echo not yet. But if you live in the state of already done, your future will reflect already here. The mind often tries to complicate this truth by asking, but what if it doesn't happen? That is the voice of fear, the voice of the old self that still believes in lack. Faith answers not with explanations but with rest. It rests in the assurance that it is already finished. Right now, in this very moment, you can step into the reality you want. You can feel the joy of having it, the relief of completion, the peace of knowing it's yours. That feeling is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Hold it, live in it, because faith is not a promise for tomorrow, it is possession today. And when you truly possess it in the present, the outer world has no choice but to deliver it to you. Imagination is the bridge between where you are and where you long to be. It is the invisible path that connects the unseen to the seen, the inner world to the outer. Every change, every creation, every fulfilled desire begins first as an image in the mind. Before it can appear in your hands, it must appear in your awareness. This is why those who neglect their imagination remain bound to the same circumstances. They have never built the bridge. When you feel and see the outcome within, you are not engaging in idle daydreaming. You are engaging in creation. Imagination is not fantasy. It is the workshop of reality. The world you see today is nothing but the outer expression of the images you have held in your mind, whether consciously or unconsciously. And the moment you choose to deliberately hold a new image, you begin to walk across the bridge toward a new reality. The power lies in feeling it real. Anyone can picture a better life, but if that picture feels distant, if it feels like someday instead of now, it remains locked in the realm of desire. Feeling is what makes the image alive. When you step into your imagination and inhabit the scene as if it were happening now, speaking the words you would speak, hearing the sounds, touching the objects, sensing the atmosphere, you collapse the distance between you and your desire. In that inner space, you are no longer wanting. You are living it. Your outer world is obedient to the state you occupy inwardly. If your inner world is filled with the sensation of already having, the outer must reflect it. This is not because imagination is mere escapism, but because consciousness shapes reality. The moment you identify with the new image, you stop acting from the old self. Your choices shift, your energy changes, and unseen forces begin to align circumstances in your favor. Consider how great inventions, works of art, or life-changing ideas have come into being. They were first imagined in detail. The Creator did not wait for the physical proof before believing in them. They walked the bridge in their mind until the vision became tangible. You can do the same with your desires. Whether it is love, success, health, or freedom, the process is identical. Live it inwardly until it must appear outwardly. Imagination is the bridge, but you must walk it daily. You must return to the inner scene often, not as a wishful visitor, but as a rightful resident. Each time you do, the bridge becomes shorter, the gap closes, and the outer begins to catch up to the inner. When you truly feel and see the outcome within, the question is no longer will it happen, but how soon will I see what I already know is mine? And in time the answer will arrive. Not as a surprise, but as the natural expression of what you have already lived in your imagination. Let go of the how. For the moment you demand to know every step, You place chains on the very process meant to deliver your desire. The mind is always restless, always seeking control, asking, but how will this happen? Who will make it happen? What will I need to do? In asking these questions from a place of worry, you confess that you do not yet believe. True belief does not demand to see the map. It walks forward knowing the road will appear under its feet. When you hold too tightly to the how, you interfere with the unseen forces already at work. You are like a gardener who plants a seed and then digs it up every day to check its progress. In doing so, you disturb the process and delay the harvest. Life has its own intelligence, its own way of weaving events together in perfect order. Your role is not to direct every movement of the universe. Your role is to decide what you desire and hold to that end with unwavering conviction. The how belongs to a higher order of wisdom than the human mind can comprehend. Sometimes the path will unfold through opportunities you could never have planned. Sometimes the answer will arrive through a person you have not yet met, or through a situation that seems unrelated at first glance. The mind, with its limited vision, cannot see all the threads being woven together in the unseen. But when you release the how, you give permission for the full tapestry to be completed without your interference. Letting go does not mean doing nothing. It means acting in harmony with your belief, not in panic. It means taking the steps that feel natural, while allowing the larger pieces to arrange themselves without your constant pushing. You may not know how the door will open, but if you walk toward it in faith, you will find it unlocked when you arrive. There is a deep peace that comes with surrendering the how. It removes the strain from your desire. It allows you to live as though the end result is already guaranteed, because it is. The moment you imagine the outcome and feel it real, the path to it begins to form. Your task is to stay in alignment with that end, to remain in the state of the wish fulfilled, and to trust that every necessary detail is being handled. When you stop interfering, the way reveals itself effortlessly. People are moved into place. Circumstances shift quietly. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. And when the result appears, you will see that it came, not because you struggled to make it happen, but because you trusted enough to let it happen. Release the how. Hold the vision. Walk in the feeling of the fulfilled desire. The rest will take care of itself, for the way is always prepared for the one who believes. Rest in the knowing, for the moment you truly know it's yours, it begins to move toward you. There is a quiet power in certainty, not the noisy confidence that tries to convince itself, but the deep, calm assurance that needs no proof. When you reach this place within yourself, you stop grasping, you stop questioning, you stop measuring time, you simply live as though the end is already secured, because in your mind and heart it is. Knowing is different from hoping. Hope looks toward the future, always waiting for the day it might come. Knowing lives in the present, grounded in the truth that it is already here in unseen form. This state is not forced, it is felt. It comes when you have imagined the end so completely, so vividly, that you no longer need to think about it constantly. It becomes as natural to you as the memory of something that has already happened. When you rest in this knowing, you align with the reality you desire. Everything about you, your words, your choices, your energy, begins to shift to match that reality. You find yourself drawn to certain places, making decisions without overthinking, following impulses that seem small but later prove significant. This is not coincidence. It is the unseen moving through you, guiding you toward the fulfillment you have already claimed within. Resting in the knowing also removes the resistance that often keeps desires at a distance. When you are desperate for something to happen, you emit the vibration of not having it, and life mirrors that back to you. But when you are at rest, when you no longer need to chase, you declare to life that it is already done. And life, being obedient to your state, responds by bringing it into view. Think of how you act when you order something you've paid for. You do not pace the floor or beg the store to send it. You know it is yours, and you simply wait for its arrival. This is how you must treat the desires you have accepted as reality. You have paid for them with belief, and now you allow them to be delivered without anxiety. Resting does not mean inaction. It means moving through life without the heaviness of doubt. It means waking up each day with the quiet joy of someone who already possesses what they once longed for. It means trusting the unseen process, even when there is no visible evidence yet. The moment you know it's yours, you set unseen forces in motion. The people, opportunities, and circumstances needed for its fulfillment begin to arrange themselves. And because you are resting in the knowing, you are ready to receive when they arrive. So stop wrestling with the when and how. The seed has been planted. The harvest is inevitable. Rest in the knowing and watch as what you desire moves steadily, faithfully, and inevitably into your life. All that you desire is already within your reach, not through relentless chasing, but through quiet acceptance, stillness, and unwavering faith in the present moment. Imagination becomes the bridge, the how takes care of itself, and certainty draws it toward you like a magnet. The moment you rest in the knowing that it is already yours, the unseen begins to move in your favor. Life will always mirror the state you live in. Live as though it is done, and it must become your reality. Thank you. There is a secret known to those who have shaped their realities effortlessly. It is the art of speaking, not with words alone, but with the deep, undeniable language of being. When you wish to communicate with the universe, you do not beg, you do not plead, and you do not ask from a place of lack. Instead, you declare, you assume, you live from the end. Everything in existence responds to your inner world. The moment you embody the feeling of your desire as already fulfilled, the universe has no choice but to conform. Speak in the language of certainty. Instead of saying, I wish for wealth, dwell in the knowing, I am wealth. Instead of pleading for love, embody the feeling of being deeply cherished. Your imagination is your direct line to creation. When you close your eyes and vividly experience your ideal life, when you feel it is real, you are sending a command. The universe does not argue with conviction, it obeys. Most people block their manifestations because they cling to time and method. They wonder, when will it happen? How will it come? But those who understand the truth know that the how is never their concern. Your task is only to remain in the state of fulfillment, unwavering. The most powerful prayer is not spoken aloud. It is a state of being. Live in the vibration of your answered prayer. Speak to the universe by embodying your desires, and it will echo them back to you. You are not separate from what you seek. You are the creator, and your reality bends to the story you tell yourself. Choose wisely. What you assume to be true with conviction and feeling becomes the framework upon which your reality is built. Every moment, whether consciously or unconsciously, you are in conversation with the universe, shaping your experiences through the assumptions you hold. The universe does not respond to idle words, nor does it react to fleeting desires. Instead, it aligns with the deep-seated beliefs you carry, the thoughts you return to over and over, and the emotions that fuel them. Assumption is not mere wishful thinking. It is not a casual hope or an empty affirmation spoken without belief. It is the unseen force that molds your life, for what you truly assume to be real, you will see reflected back to you in the world. Look around at your current circumstances. They are the direct result of the assumptions you have held in the past. If you believe that success is difficult, that struggle is necessary, or that love is elusive, then those beliefs shape your experiences. If, however, you assume that life unfolds in your favor, that opportunities come easily, and that you are deeply valued and loved, then that reality must manifest. The universe does not argue with you. It simply mirrors back what you persistently accept as true. This is why so many people feel trapped in cycles they cannot seem to escape, because they continue to assume the same things, reinforcing the same experiences. They say, "I always struggle financially," and so they do. They declare, "People always disappoint me," and so they are disappointed. They believe, "I never get what I want," and so their desires remain just out of reach. But the moment you shift your assumption, you shift your world. Assume, even in the face of contrary evidence, that you are already the person you wish to be. Assume that you are already abundant, that love is already yours, that life is already working in your favor. The key is to hold this assumption with certainty, to embody it fully, to make it feel as natural as the air you breathe. When you do this, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself in accordance with your new state of being. There is no need to force anything. You do not beg or struggle to make things happen. You do not need to chase after your desires, hoping that something outside of you will grant them. Instead, you quietly assume them to be real, as if they were already accomplished. Your assumption, when deeply felt, is the seed that must bloom into reality. Doubt is the only thing that can delay your manifestation. The moment you entertain thoughts of what if it doesn't happen, you waver between two opposing assumptions, the desire and the fear. And the universe, ever obedient, reflects both back to you in confusion, causing delays and inconsistencies. This is why unwavering faith is necessary. Not blind faith in something external, but faith in your own creative power, in your ability to assume and expect with certainty. You do not need proof before you believe. Belief is what creates the proof. People often say, "I'll believe it when I see it," but in truth, you will see it when you believe it. Assumption precedes reality. Every great achievement, every success, every breakthrough first existed in someone's mind as an assumption before it materialized. The artist assumes the completion of their masterpiece before they paint the first stroke. The inventor assumes the success of their creation before it exists. The wealthy person assumes abundance before the riches arrive. Begin now. Assume the feeling of already being, already having, already living the life you desire. Let that feeling become familiar, second nature, as though it were the only reality you have ever known. Speak it silently to yourself. Walk through life as though your assumption were already fact. Do not waver, do not doubt, and do not allow appearances to shake your belief. When assumption becomes your reality in consciousness, it must become your reality in the physical world. This is the unbreakable law. The universe does not resist, it does not question, it simply reflects. Speak in the language of assumption and watch as your world transforms before your eyes. Your emotions are the bridge between the unseen and the physical world. Every thought you hold, every belief you entertain is powered by the energy of feeling. Without feeling, thoughts are empty, powerless, incapable of bringing about change. But when thought is infused with emotion, when it is felt with deep conviction, it becomes alive, carrying the force necessary to shape reality. The universe does not respond to words alone, nor does it react to mere wishes. It responds to the vibration of your being, the feeling state you dwell in most often. Many people believe they must ask repeatedly, beg, or work tirelessly to manifest their desires. But the truth is far simpler. You do not need to plead, you only need to feel. If you can generate the emotion of already having what you desire, the universe must reflect that reality back to you. Feeling is the language of creation. When you embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, You align yourself with the very essence of that experience. The world around you begins to shift, rearrange, and conform to match the energy you are transmitting. Most people approach their desires with a sense of lack. They think about what they want, but they feel the absence of it. They long for love but feel lonely. They wish for abundance but feel the weight of financial struggle. They dream of success but carry within them the fear of failure. And so, the universe mirrors back to them not their words, not their surface level desires, but the deep feeling of lack they continue to dwell in. To change your reality, you must first change your internal state. Instead of wanting something and reinforcing the feeling that it is missing, shift your focus to the sensation of already having it. Close your eyes and immerse yourself in the experience. What would it feel like to be deeply loved, to have financial freedom, to be living your dream life? Let the joy, the peace, and the gratitude fill your body as if the event had already happened. When you do this, you are speaking the most powerful language the universe understands. Children do this effortlessly. When they play, they fully immerse themselves in the world of their imagination. A child who pretends to be a superhero does not just say the words. They feel the power, the excitement, the confidence of being one, and in that moment, to them, it is real. This is the key to manifestation. You must live in the state of already having, already being, already experiencing your desire. The universe is neutral. It simply responds to the signals you send. If you feel abundant, you will attract abundance. If you feel loved, you will receive love. If you feel worthy of success, doors will open effortlessly for you. But if you allow yourself to dwell in fear, doubt, or unworthiness, those too will be reflected in your reality. Many people struggle with this because they believe they must see evidence before they can feel the emotion. But this is backward. Feeling comes first and reality follows. You must practice living in the feeling of your desired outcome before it arrives. This is not pretending. It is embodying the state of being that magnetizes your desire to you. One of the most powerful ways to do this is through gratitude. Gratitude instantly shifts your focus from lack to fulfillment. When you feel grateful, you acknowledge that you already have what you need, and this opens the door for more to flow into your life. Even before your desire materializes, give thanks as though it is already yours. Feel the excitement, the relief, the joy of knowing it is done. Doubt and impatience are the greatest disruptors of your emotions are your compass. They tell you whether you are in alignment with your desires cannot or shift back into the feeling of lack. In a world where people joyful and certain that you are on the right path, you beg and chase after their desires when you desperation, adjust when you one who understands the universe is always creation knows always responding. Manifestation becomes inevitable. The universe does not respond to struggle. Choose wisely, nor does it answer and watch your world transform. It moves in accordance with your state of being, with the quiet certainty that what you seek is already yours. Pleading carries the energy of lack. When you beg for something, whether from a person, a situation, or the universe itself, you are declaring that you do not have it. You reinforce the very absence of what you desire. You send out a signal of neediness, and because the universe mirrors your state of being, it continues to reflect back more lack, more waiting, more struggle. Begging, even in prayer, is an admission of powerlessness. It is an acknowledgement of separation between you and your desire. But the truth is, there is no separation. What you seek is not outside of you, it is within you, waiting to be realized. Silence, on the other hand, is the language of those who know. It is the state of complete trust, of unshakable faith. When you communicate in silence, you do not ask, you do not plead, you assume. You rest in the deep awareness that your desire is already fulfilled. There is no need to announce it, no need to seek validation, no need to convince anyone, not even yourself. You simply know. This knowing, when deeply felt, is the most powerful force in existence. Consider the difference between a person who constantly talks about their goals, seeking reassurance from others, and the one who moves in quiet confidence, knowing their success is inevitable. The one who talks, begs, and over-explains is revealing their doubt, their insecurity, their need for external confirmation. But the one who remains silent, who holds their vision within and moves with certainty, is the one who truly possesses their desire. They do not chase because they understand that what is theirs will come naturally. This is the secret of creation. The less you fight, the less you beg, the less you struggle, the faster things move in your favor. When you remain still, mentally, emotionally, and physically, you allow the universe to do its work. You become like the calm surface of a lake, reflecting only what you choose to see, rather than the stormy waters of desperation that distort and repel what you want. Silence is not passive. It is not about doing nothing or waiting idly for something to happen. Silence is active in its depth. It is the embodiment of complete alignment with your desire. When you are truly in the state of having, there is nothing left to say. You do not need to tell the world. You do not need to justify yourself. You do not need to convince anyone. You simply live as though it is already done. This is why those who master silence often seem to receive their desires effortlessly. They do not engage in the noise of doubt, fear, or external validation. They do not allow their energy to be scattered by unnecessary words. Instead, they speak to the universe in the quiet, unwavering language of certainty. Imagine two people wanting the same thing. One begs for it daily, constantly checking, hoping and waiting. The other, in contrast, claims it in silence, knowing that it is already theirs, feeling it with every fiber of their being. The first remains in a state of longing, reinforcing the absence of their desire. The second lives in the assumption of fulfillment, drawing it to them with ease. The difference is not in their words, but in their state of being. There is immense strength in silence. When you stop asking, stop begging, stop explaining, and instead stand firm in the inner conviction that your desire is already yours, you shift everything in your favor. You communicate with the universe in its purest language, the language of knowing. And in this knowing, all things must align to match your inner state. Let go of the need to plead. Speak less, assume more. Rest in silence and watch as your world transforms effortlessly before you. The universe does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It responds only to the impressions you hold within, the images you persistently entertain in your mind. Your imagination is not just a fleeting daydream or a tool for creative play. It is your direct line to the unseen forces shaping your reality. What you repeatedly envision with feeling becomes the blueprint for your life, the foundation upon which your experiences are built. The key to mastering this power is consistency. Many people imagine their desires for a few moments, only to fall back into doubt, fear, or negative thinking. They allow their old mental patterns to take over, undoing the work of their imagination. But the ones who persist, who hold their vision unwaveringly, regardless of external appearances, are the ones who see their desires materialize. To use this power effectively, you must engage all your senses. When you imagine, do not merely see the image, step into it. Feel the emotions you would feel if your desire were already fulfilled. Hear the sounds, smell the scents, and immerse yourself in the experience as if it were happening now. The more real it feels to you, the faster it becomes real in your world. Children do this effortlessly. When they play, they fully embody their imagined world. A child who pretends to be a pilot does not question whether they are flying. They simply are. They feel the wind, hear the roar of the engine, and experience the joy of soaring through the sky. This is the secret to powerful manifestation. To imagine with such conviction that there is no doubt, no separation between what is imagined and what is real. Many of the greatest minds in history understood this truth. They saw possibilities before others could. They held visions of a future that seemed impossible, and because they believed in those visions more than their present circumstances, they brought them into reality. The same principle applies to you. Your imagination is your direct connection to the infinite possibilities that exist beyond what you can see. When you use it deliberately, you take control of your destiny. Do not let your imagination be ruled by fear or limitation. Guard the images you hold in your mind, for they are shaping your future. Replace thoughts of doubt with thoughts of certainty. Replace images of failure with images of success, and persist in this new vision until it becomes your reality. The universe does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. It simply responds. What you choose to imagine today is creating the life you will step into tomorrow. Use this power wisely, and you will see the world reshape itself according to the vision you hold within. Gratitude is the language of completion, the signal that what you desire is already yours. When you express gratitude, not for something you hope will come, but for something you know is already done, you align yourself with the reality where your desire exists. This is the secret that so many overlook. They believe they must wait to feel gratitude until after they receive. But the truth is the opposite. It is gratitude that brings your desires into form, for it signals to the universe that there is nothing more to seek, nothing more to chase. It tells creation itself that you are already in possession of what you once longed for. Most people live in a state of wanting. They look at their lives and see what is missing. They pray for more money, more love, more opportunities, yet their prayers are laced with lack. They focus on the absence of what they seek rather than the reality of its presence. They do not realize that their feelings of unfulfillment are creating more unfulfillment. They believe that gratitude is a response to receiving, when in truth it is the cause. Gratitude is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, between the imagined and the manifested. It is the vibration of completion, the state of mind that signals to the universe that your desire is no longer something in the future. It is here now. And because the universe mirrors your state of being, it must make that truth visible in your physical world. Imagine someone who constantly complains about their circumstances, always speaking of what they lack, always feeling the weight of unfulfilled desires. No matter what they receive, they remain in a state of dissatisfaction, always waiting for something more to make them happy. They do not realize that their very state of being is blocking the flow of abundance. The universe cannot give more to one who does not recognize what they already have. Now imagine another person who, regardless of their circumstances, walks in gratitude. They speak as if they already have what they seek. They wake up each morning with the quiet confidence that everything they desire is already unfolding perfectly. They do not beg, they do not worry, they do not chase. Instead, they give thanks. And because they live in this vibration, life continues to give them more to be grateful for. This is the shift that changes everything. When you stop speaking in terms of if and when, and start speaking in terms of now, you unlock the doors that once seemed closed. Instead of saying, I hope I get this, you say, I am so grateful that this is already mine. Instead of feeling anxious about when it will come, you feel peace, knowing it is done. This shift in awareness is what draws it to you effortlessly. Gratitude is not about forcing yourself to be happy with less. It is about recognizing that you are never truly lacking. It is about understanding that the moment you claim something in consciousness, it is already yours in the unseen. Your only task is to align yourself with it so that it can appear before you. When you express gratitude for what you have not yet physically received, you are not pretending. You are acknowledging a deeper truth. The truth that all things exist in potential, waiting for you to align with them. You are stepping into the version of yourself who already has what they desire. And because you are already in that state, the universe has no choice but to reflect it back to you. This is why those who live in gratitude seem to attract abundance effortlessly. They do not demand, they do not struggle, they give thanks, and in doing so, they shift into a reality where they already have everything they need. They unlock doors that others cannot see, simply because they recognize that the doors were never truly closed to begin with. So do not wait, do not postpone gratitude for some future moment when everything is perfect. Speak in gratitude now, feel it now. Let every word, every thought, every breath be an expression of thanks. Walk as if the... There is a secret that the few who rise above know well. Those who act as if they have nothing to lose are the ones who gain everything. The world is not withholding from you. Your own fear of loss is the only thing standing in your way. What if I told you that loss is an illusion? That what you hold on to so tightly is not meant to be possessed, but experienced? The man who walks through life afraid to lose will never truly live. But the one who moves boldly, as if the universe itself is his ally, finds that life bends to his will. You must step beyond fear. Fear is nothing more than a shadow cast by a mind clinging to the past or dreading an imagined future. Yet in this very moment you are free. Free to assume the life you desire. Free to act as though nothing stands between you and your vision. Do you wish to be wealthy? Then walk, speak, and think as one who already is. Do you long for love? Then embody the energy of one already loved, already fulfilled. Do you dream of success? Then move through the world as if it is inevitable. And here is the greatest secret. When you no longer fear losing, you become magnetic. Opportunities arise effortlessly. People are drawn to you. Life begins to unfold in ways beyond what you once believed possible. Because the one who fears nothing controls everything. The one who assumes their wish is already fulfilled does not wait, does not chase, does not beg. They simply walk in the certainty that it is done. So I ask you now, will you dare to act as if you have nothing to lose? Will you step forward as though the universe is already conspiring in your favor? Because the moment you do, the moment you let go of fear, you will find that everything you have ever desired was waiting for you to claim it all along. Everything you have ever believed to be yours is, in truth, a passing shadow, an ever-changing reflection of the state of your mind. The idea of loss is a deception, an illusion woven so deeply into human consciousness that most never stop to question it. They clutch to what they believe is theirs. People, possessions, status, fearing that without them they will somehow be diminished. Yet what if you understood that nothing is ever truly lost? What if you knew that all things in life are merely shifting forms, constantly moving through the flow of existence? Consider the river. It never holds on to the water that flows through it, yet it remains a river. The ocean does not fear the receding tide, for it knows that the waves will return. And so it is with your life. The people who enter, the opportunities that appear, the possessions you acquire, none of these are permanent fixtures. They are experiences, moments that arise and dissolve, like waves upon the shore. To grieve their departure is to resist the natural order, to misunderstand the nature of reality itself. If you look back upon your life, you will see that what you once mourned as a loss often led to something greater. The job you were so desperate to keep, the relationship that fell apart, the money that slipped through your fingers. At the time, it may have seemed like a cruel misfortune. But now, standing where you are, can you not see how each apparent loss carved a new path for you? How each door that closed forced you to step into something new, something unforeseen, yet ultimately necessary? The only reason you suffer over loss is that you have falsely identified yourself with the things you believe you own. You say, this is my house, my career, my reputation, my loved one, but in truth you are none of these things. You are not what you own, nor are you what you have lost. The essence of who you are remains unchanged, untouched by the shifting circumstances of the world. When you let go of the illusion that anything external defines you, you also let go of the fear of losing it. Freedom comes when you understand that life is not about accumulation, but about movement. It is not about clinging, but about allowing. What you think you own is simply passing through, like a traveler who stops for a time before continuing their journey. When you resist this truth, when you hold on too tightly, you suffer. You chain yourself to things that were never meant to be possessed, only experienced. There is nothing you have ever truly lost. The relationships that ended, the opportunities that disappeared, the moments that slipped through your grasp, each one served its purpose. They came to teach you, to shape you, to guide you towards something greater. And when their time was done, they moved on, not as a punishment, but as a necessary step in your evolution. What if, instead of mourning what is gone, you embraced the space it left behind? What if, instead of fearing loss, you saw it as a transformation, a clearing for something new? A tree does not grieve when its leaves fall in autumn, nor does it fight to keep them. It simply lets go, knowing that new leaves will grow when the time is right. You are not here to hold on to things, to grasp at fleeting moments. You are here to experience, to expand, to evolve. And each time something leaves your life, it is not an ending but a passage. It is a transition, a shift that is guiding you toward what is meant for you. So release the fear, release the attachment, understand that in this vast, infinite universe, nothing is ever truly lost. It is only transformed, only taking a new shape, only making room for something greater to enter. Fear is the silent architect of limitation, constructing invisible walls around your potential. It whispers doubts, plants hesitation, and convinces you that stepping beyond the known is dangerous. Yet, if you were to pause and truly examine the nature of this fear, you would see that it has no substance of its own. It exists only in your mind, a projection of past experiences, conditioned beliefs, and imagined outcome. It is not the world that restricts you, but your acceptance of these imagined barriers as real. Everything you desire lies just beyond the threshold of fear. The opportunities you dream of, the success you crave, the freedom you long for, all of it is within reach, but only if you dare to step beyond the mental walls you have constructed. Most people live their entire lives confined by these self-imposed limitations. They do not act, not because they are truly incapable, but because they believe they are. They do not chase their dreams, not because they are unreachable, but because they fear failure, rejection, or the unknown. But what is fear truly? It is not a force in the world, not a physical barrier that holds you back. It is a story, a series of thoughts that you have repeated so often they feel real. You were not born afraid. You learned fear. You absorbed it from the world, from experiences that conditioned you to play small, to be cautious, to stay within the lines. And yet, for every person who has lived trapped by fear, there are those who have broken free. Those who have realized that fear is a choice, not a truth. The moment you decide to move despite fear, you strip it of its power. Fear is only paralyzing when you submit to it, when you allow it to dictate your actions. But when you step forward anyway, something remarkable happens. The walls you once saw as impenetrable dissolve. You begin to see that the limits you once believed in were never real to begin with. The job you thought you couldn't apply for, the relationship you feared would fail, the dream you convinced yourself was impossible, all of it was only unattainable because you told yourself it was. Fear is a gatekeeper, and it asks only one question: how badly do you want it? Those who allow fear to stop them remain prisoners of their own minds, never venturing beyond what is safe, predictable, and ordinary. But those who refuse to bow to fear, who push through the discomfort, who act even when their hands tremble, these are the ones who unlock infinite possibilities. They are the ones who discover that the only thing standing between them and the life they desire was a thought, an illusion, a belief that never had to be true. Think of the moments in your life when you were most afraid. Perhaps it was speaking in front of others, taking a risk, or stepping into an unfamiliar situation. Now think of the times when you overcame that fear. Did the world crumble? Did you collapse under the weight of the unknown? Or did you emerge stronger, more confident, more free? Every time you have faced fear, you have proven to yourself that it is powerless once confronted. And yet, each new fear tries to convince you that this time is different. But it is not different. The pattern is always the same. Fear arises, it tries to hold you back, and if you resist it, it fades. Every single time. Imagine if you lived as though fear had no control over you. What would you do? Who would you become? How much more of life would you experience if you no longer allowed fear to dictate your choices? The truth is, you are already free. The walls that confine you were never real. And the moment you decide to release fear, to refuse to let it shape your actions, the world opens up to you in ways you never imagined possible. The greatest secret hidden in plain sight is this: your reality is not something happening to you, it is something happening through you. Every experience, every opportunity, and every challenge you encounter is a reflection of your inner state, your beliefs, your assumptions, and the way you see yourself in relation to the world. Most people believe they must work tirelessly, struggle endlessly, and prove their worth before success can be theirs. But the truth is far simpler. If you assume success is already yours, reality has no choice but to conform to that assumption. When you walk into a room with absolute confidence, others respond to you differently. When you expect things to go in your favor, you carry yourself in a way that invites positive outcomes. This is not luck or coincidence. It is the law of assumption in action. Your world is a mirror, faithfully reflecting back to you whatever you impress upon it. If you assume wealth, opportunities, and success are already yours, you naturally align your actions, decisions, and mindset to match that assumption. And as you do, the outer world bends to accommodate it. Most people live in reaction to what they see, unaware that they themselves have projected those conditions onto the screen of life. They believe they must wait for proof before they can believe in their success. They tell themselves, I will feel confident once I have achieved something. I will believe in my abundance once I see money in my account. But this is like waiting for a reflection in the mirror to change before altering your expression. It does not work that way. The external follows the internal, not the other way around. The moment you shift your assumption, you shift your world. When you assume success, you stop questioning whether it is possible, whether you are capable, or whether things will work out. Instead, you act from a place of certainty. And this changes everything. You make decisions with confidence. You walk into opportunities as if they were meant for you. You attract the right people, the right circumstances, and the right ideas, because your inner state no longer entertains failure. Look at those who have achieved great things. It is not merely talent, intelligence, or luck that sets them apart. It is their unwavering assumption that success belongs to them. They do not doubt, they do not waver. Even when obstacles arise, they continue forward as if the outcome is inevitable. And because they hold that assumption, reality molds itself around them. Now ask yourself, what are you assuming about your life right now? Are you assuming struggle, lack, and limitation? Or are you assuming abundance, ease, and success? Every assumption you hold is shaping your reality, whether you are aware of it or not. The good news is you can choose to assume something new. You do not need permission, proof, or external validation. You need only to step into the state of already having, already being, already achieving. The greatest shift you can make is to live as though what you desire is already yours. Speak as if it has already happened. Walk as if you are already the person you dream of becoming. Feel the reality of it so deeply that the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. You do not manifest what you want, you manifest what you assume to be true. If you assume success, success must follow. If you assume failure, failure will meet you at every turn. The power has always been in your hands. The world is simply waiting for you to decide. There is a paradox in life that many fail to see. The more desperately you cling to something, the more it eludes you. The tighter you grasp, the further it slips away. This is true in relationships, in success, in wealth, anything you desire. The moment you make something your source of happiness, your lifeline, or your identity, you create resistance. But when you release that attachment, when you stop needing it to feel complete, something extraordinary happens. The very things you once chased begin to chase you. Why? Because detachment creates magnetism. It signals confidence, self-sufficiency, and a deep knowing that what is meant for you cannot be lost. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, you move through life with an energy that is impossible to ignore. You are no longer driven by desperation, but by inner certainty. And that certainty is the most attractive force in the universe. Think about it. The person who walks into a room without seeking approval, who is completely at ease within themselves, naturally draws others in. The job candidate who approaches an interview with confidence, not anxiety, makes a lasting impression. The entrepreneur who is not afraid to fail, who takes risks without fear of loss, is the one who ultimately succeeds. Why? Because they are not gripping onto the outcome. They are moving with the flow of life, knowing that whatever is meant for them will find its way. Desperation repels. It creates an energy of lack, a signal to the world that you do not believe you already possess what you seek. And when you act from a place of lack, you only receive more lack in return. But detachment, true effortless detachment, signals abundance. It tells the universe, I already have everything within me. If this comes, wonderful. If not, I remain whole. That energy is irresistible. Look at nature. A river does not cling to its water, yet it flows endlessly. The sun does not chase the moon, yet they dance in perfect harmony. The tree does not beg the wind to move its leaves, yet the breeze always comes. There is no force, no strain, only effortless being. This is the state you must adopt in your own life. Let things come and go without grasping. Hold nothing so tightly that its loss would shake you. Because the truth is, nothing external was ever yours to begin with. Everything in this world is passing through. When you understand this, you become free. Does this mean you should not desire? Not at all. Desire is natural. But there is a difference between desiring and needing. Desire is expansive. It propels you forward. Neediness is restrictive. It traps you in fear. When you can want something without being consumed by it, when you can move toward your dreams without making them your identity, you unlock a new level of power. You move with confidence, with ease, with the quiet knowing that what is meant for you cannot miss you. This is why those who embody detachment seem to attract everything effortlessly. They are not burdened by the weight of wanting. They are not frantic in their pursuit. They have already decided deep within that they are enough, with or without the thing they desire. And because of that, life bends in their favor. So ask yourself, what are you holding on to so tightly that it is slipping away? A relationship, a goal, a dream? Release your grip. Act as if you have nothing to lose, and you will find that you gain everything. Move as though you already possess what you seek. Live as though it is already yours. And in doing so, you will become magnetic to all that you desire. The world does not reward hesitation. It does not open doors for those who stand in doubt, questioning their own power. The ones who shape reality, who bend life to their will, are those who move with unwavering certainty. The bold always win, not because they are superior, not because they have more resources or advantages, but because they have decided, deep within, that they will win. This decision alone shifts everything. When you step forward with boldness, unseen forces move in your favor. Opportunities appear where none seem to exist. People respond to you differently, sensing the confidence in your presence. Life itself seems to conspire on your behalf, not because of luck, but because certainty is a force that demands recognition. Most people wait for permission. They wait for signs, for approval, for reassurance that they are on the right path. But the bold do not wait. They move first, and the world adjusts accordingly. Consider how the greatest leaders, innovators, and visionaries have moved through life. They did not wait for conditions to be perfect before they acted. They did not hesitate because of fear or doubt. They stepped forward with an unshakable knowing that success was already theirs. And because they assumed victory, reality had no choice but to meet them at their assumption. Hesitation is a signal to the universe that you are unsure. It creates instability, opening the door for obstacles, delays, and missed opportunities. But when you move with boldness, when you act as if what you seek is already yours, you collapse the waiting period. You eliminate the space for doubt to creep in. You do not need to see the entire path. You need only to take the first step with conviction. And as you do, the next step reveals itself. Imagine two people entering a negotiation. One is timid, hoping they will be taken seriously, unsure of their worth. The other walks in with absolute certainty, already knowing the outcome will be in their favor. Who do you think wins? The one who moves with boldness. Not because they are more deserving, but because they expect to win. Their energy, their presence, their very being commands it. The same principle applies to all areas of life: business, relationships, personal growth. If you approach something with hesitation, the world hesitates in response. If you approach with certainty, the world reflects that certainty back to you. The key is to act as if the outcome is already secured, not to wish, not to hope, but to know, to embody the state of already having, already achieving, already becoming. But boldness does not mean recklessness. It is not about making impulsive decisions or ignoring wisdom. It is about moving forward with a deep inner conviction, unshaken by temporary setbacks. The bold do not let fear dictate their actions. They understand that fear is an illusion, a barrier that only exists if they choose to acknowledge it, and so they move past it, knowing that fear dissolves the moment they refuse to entertain it. So many people live their lives in hesitation, waiting for a sign that it is safe to act. But the truth is, the sign comes after the action. The confirmation appears after the decision is made. Life responds to movement. The moment you commit fully, unseen forces align to support you. The resources, the people, the circumstances, they all begin to shift in ways you could not have predicted. But none of it happens until you move first. Ask yourself, where in your life have you been waiting when you should be moving? What dreams have you placed on hold because you are waiting for the right moment? The right moment is now. It has always been now. Step forward boldly. Move as if success is inevitable. Act as though the world has no choice but to give you what you seek. Because when you do, it won't have a choice. The bold always win. Your life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Every experience, every opportunity, every challenge you face is a reflection of the story you tell yourself. Most people live as if they are mere passengers in their own lives, reacting to circumstances, blaming fate, and believing they have no control. But the truth is, you are the creator. The script of your life is written by your thoughts, your beliefs, and the assumptions you hold about yourself and the world. If you wish to change your reality, you must begin by changing the story you tell yourself. Look at your life right now, everything in it. The good, the bad, the extraordinary, the mundane is the result of what you have accepted as true. The way you see yourself, the way you believe the world treats you, the expectations you hold, these are not passive thoughts, they are the very foundation upon which your reality is built. If you tell yourself you are unlucky, life will provide evidence to confirm it. If you tell yourself you are powerful, life will rearrange itself to reflect that power. You may argue that circumstances are beyond your control, that life is unpredictable, and that external forces determine your fate. But even this belief is part of the story you have chosen to accept. And as long as you accept it, it will remain true for you. The moment you shift your perspective, the moment you decide to see yourself as the creator, reality will begin to reshape itself accordingly. The world is a mirror, faithfully reflecting back whatever you assume to be true. If you expect difficulty, you will encounter obstacles. If you expect ease, doors will open where you once saw walls. This is not wishful thinking, it is the very nature of existence. Your assumptions create your experience, and your unwavering belief cements it into reality. What would happen if you began to tell yourself a new story? If you decided that life was unfolding in your favor, that success was inevitable, that you were worthy of everything you desire? What if, instead of doubting, you assumed that what you wanted was already yours? Reality would have no choice but to reflect that new assumption. This is the power of unwavering belief. When you act as if your vision is already real, when you carry yourself with the confidence of someone who knows rather than someone who hopes, everything shifts. The people around you respond differently. Opportunities appear effortlessly. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. But you must be consistent. Doubt is the great destroyer of creation. The moment you question, the moment you waver, you disrupt the process. Imagine planting a seed and then digging it up every day to check if it is growing. It never has a chance to take root. Your beliefs work the same way. If you declare yourself successful but then immediately worry about failure, you cancel out your own creation. You must commit fully, without hesitation. The great secret is this: life does not respond to wishful thinking, it responds to certainty. You must move as if your desire is already fact. You must embody the version of yourself who already has what you seek. Speak, act, and think from that place, and the world will reshape itself to match your assumption. Most people wait for evidence before they believe, but the Creator does the opposite. They believe first and the evidence follows. This is how reality bends. It does not happen through force or struggle, but through inner transformation. Change your assumption, and everything external will shift to align with it. What story are you telling yourself? Is it one of power, abundance, and certainty? Or is it one of limitation, fear, and doubt? You hold the pen, you are the author, and at any moment you can rewrite the narrative. Decide now that you are worthy. Decide now that life bends in your favor. Hold that belief without wavering, and watch as the world molds itself to your vision. Everything you seek is already within you. The reality you experience is not dictated by external forces, but by the story you choose to tell yourself. Fear is an illusion, loss is transformation, and assumption is the power that shapes your world. When you act as if you have nothing to lose, when you move with boldness, the universe responds in kind. The moment you detach, you become magnetic. The moment you assume victory, life rushes to confirm it. There is a law, as certain as the rising of the sun, that what you give out must return to you. The universe is not forgetful, nor is it blind. It has seen your efforts, your unwavering belief, your silent prayers in the night. What is owed to you must come, not by chance, not by luck, but by divine order. We look at the world and mistake it for something solid, something fixed. But I tell you, nothing is set in stone except your own assumptions. The reality you experience today is merely a reflection of the thoughts you held yesterday. If you have planted seeds of faith, kindness, and vision, the harvest must come. It is law. But here is where most people fail. They look around, see nothing changing, and doubt. And in their doubt, they plant weeds where their dreams were meant to grow. The wise do not concern themselves with the how or the when. They rest in the knowing that the moment they assumed their desire fulfilled, it was set into motion. The universe owes you nothing less than the fulfillment of your truest belief. You have been patient, you have trusted, and now the tide must turn in your favor. Your only task is to remain faithful to the vision, to refuse to let your current circumstances dictate your fate. I say to you, let go of desperation. Release the need to chase. The repayment is already set, the balance already adjusted in your favor. There is no need to force what is naturally coming. Feel it now, live in the end, and watch as the universe delivers all that is rightfully yours. And when it comes, Do not be surprised. Simply smile, for you knew all along. The world you see before you is not separate from you. It is a direct reflection of the thoughts you hold most dominantly in your mind. Every experience, every circumstance, and every event unfolding in your life is shaped by the nature of your inner world. If you wish to change what you see externally, you must first shift the reality you entertain internally. Most people believe that life happens to them, that they are mere spectators in a world governed by forces outside of their control. But this is a grand illusion. The truth is that life is responding to you at every moment. The thoughts you dwell upon, the emotions you consistently feel, and the assumptions you hold about yourself and the world are being mirrored back to you in the form of your reality. The universe is not arbitrary in its design. It is governed by a precise and unbreakable law. That law states that what you assume to be true with feeling and persistence must externalize itself in your world. Look at your life as it is right now. The people you interact with, the opportunities you receive, the challenges you face, all of it is a direct projection of the thoughts you have accepted as true. If you habitually focus on lack, believing that there is never enough, whether it be love, money, or success, the universe has no choice but to confirm your assumption. It is not punishing you, nor is it withholding anything from you. It is merely reflecting what you have already accepted as fact. If instead you were to shift your inner dialogue, to cultivate the belief that abundance is your birthright, that life is conspiring in your favor, you would begin to see evidence of this truth unfold. Effortless. Your mind is the master architect, and your reality is the blueprint it follows. Every thought you entertain is a seed, and with enough repetition, that seed will take root and grow into tangible experience. When you persistently assume something to be true, whether in faith or in fear, you set a powerful force into motion. This force does not operate based on logic or external conditions. It moves according to the nature of your belief. Consider a person who constantly fears betrayal in relationships. Even if they are surrounded by trustworthy individuals, their deep-seated belief in deception will lead them to interpret innocent actions as signs of dishonesty. Over time, their assumptions will shape their behavior, creating an atmosphere of doubt and insecurity. Eventually, they will find themselves in situations where their fears are confirmed, not because betrayal was inevitable, but because their unwavering belief in it caused them to unconsciously attract and create circumstances that validated their assumption. On the other hand, someone who holds the belief that life is filled with love and kindness will naturally move through the world with an open heart. They will radiate an energy that draws supportive, uplifting experiences to them. Their perception will filter out negativity, allowing them to see the good in others and in their circumstances. The universe, responding to their inner conviction, will reflect this back to them in the form of fulfilling relationships and abundant opportunities. The key is understanding that your dominant mental state determines what you experience. The universe does not respond to fleeting thoughts or wishful thinking. It responds to what you persistently assume and feel to be true. This is why many struggle with manifesting their desires. They may speak words of success, but deep inside they harbor doubts and fears. It is not their spoken words, but their deeply held beliefs that dictate what shows up in their lives. To shift your reality, you must become a guardian of your thoughts. You must deliberately choose the beliefs you wish to hold, rather than allowing old patterns of fear and limitation to control you. Begin by observing your internal dialogue. What stories are you telling yourself daily? Do they empower you or keep you bound to the same experiences? When a negative thought arises, do not fight it or resist it. Instead, replace it with one that aligns with the reality you wish to create. Imagine yourself already living in the fulfillment of your desire. Feel the emotions of success, love, and abundance as if they are already yours. Dwell in that state of being, and soon the universe will have no choice but to reflect that back to you. Do not look to the outer world for proof before you believe. Believe first and the proof will come. This is the way reality works. It is not about luck, effort, or external conditions. It is about the state of consciousness you choose to occupy. You are never a victim of circumstances. You are the creator, shaping your reality in every moment through the power of your thoughts. The question is not whether the universe will respond to you. It already is. The real question is, what are you instructing it to bring into your life? Nothing in this universe goes unnoticed, and nothing is ever lost. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every action you take sends out an energy that must return to you in some form. This is the law of compensation, an unbreakable principle woven into the fabric of existence. It is neither a reward nor a punishment. It is simply the unfolding of cause and effect. What you put into the world, whether seen or unseen, must find its way back to you. Many believe that life is unfair, that effort often goes unnoticed, and that kindness is sometimes repaid with cruelty. But this is only because they are measuring results by the limitations of time. The universe does not operate on human schedules. It does not rush, nor does it delay. It moves in perfect harmony, responding precisely to the seeds that have been planted. If a farmer sows a seed, he does not stand over it in frustration, demanding that it sprout instantly. He understands that nature has its own rhythm, and in due time the seed will break through the soil and bear fruit. The same is true for the seeds of thought and action that you plant daily. Many wonder why their desires take time to manifest. They assume that their prayers or efforts have gone unanswered, but they fail to see the deeper workings of the law. Nothing is denied, only prepared. If you have sown seeds of abundance, love, and faith, they are already taking root beneath the surface. They are growing in unseen ways, aligning circumstances and shifting events to bring about their fulfillment. But if you give up too soon, if you doubt before the harvest, you uproot the very seeds you have planted. The universe does not withhold, it only mirrors. If you persist in a state of lack, believing that you must struggle for every gain, life will continue to reflect that struggle back to you. But if you hold the conviction that all your efforts, all your faith, and all your giving must return to you multiplied, then that is precisely what you will experience. The law of compensation does not fail. It cannot. It is as certain as the rising of the sun. You may not always see the immediate effects of your thoughts and actions, but they are always in motion. Just as ripples spread across the water long after the stone has been thrown, so too does the energy you send out continue to shape your reality. This is why it is crucial to guard your thoughts, to be mindful of what you dwell upon, and to act in alignment with the results you wish to receive. There is no such thing as an insignificant thought or an unimportant action. Every moment is an opportunity to plant the seeds of your future. Some people believe they can take shortcuts, that they can deceive, manipulate, or take from others without consequence. But the law is absolute. Whatever is taken unjustly will be lost in equal measure. Whatever is gained without integrity will eventually dissolve. The universe does not allow imbalance. If you have given generously, if you have acted with honesty and sincerity, your reward is certain. It may not come in the way you expect or in the time you desire, but it will come in the form that is most fitting to the seeds you have sown. If you want love, give love freely without expectation. If you want abundance, cultivate a mindset of generosity. If you desire success, commit yourself fully to your vision without hesitation. The universe is not responding to your words alone. It is responding to the energy behind them. You cannot simply ask for abundance while living in fear of lack. You cannot seek love while harboring resentment. The law of compensation ensures that what you truly believe, not just what you say, is what will return to you. Trust in this law. Know that every effort, every moment of faith, and every act of kindness is accumulating. There is no wasted energy, no unnoticed deed. What is rightfully yours is making its way to you. Stay firm in your knowing, remain unwavering in your belief, and allow the law to work as it always has. Perfectly, without fail, desires do not arise by chance. They are not fleeting whims or meaningless thoughts passing through your mind. When a desire is deeply felt, when it stirs something within you that will not be silenced, it is more than just a wish, it is a promise. It is the universe revealing to you what is already yours, waiting to be claimed. The longing in your heart is not a trick of the mind, it is a divine contract, an agreement made between you and the unseen forces that shape reality. But for this contract to be fulfilled, you must uphold your path, you must align your inner state with the reality of your desire. Many believe that their desires are distant, that they exist somewhere outside of them, waiting to be chased, fought for, or earned. But this is an illusion. Everything you seek, everything you long for already exists in the unseen realm. The only thing that determines whether you will experience it is the state of consciousness you dwell in. If you hold the desire but also entertain doubts, fears, and beliefs in limitation, you create resistance. You delay what is rightfully yours because you have not yet fully accepted it as a certainty. The universe does not tease you with desires that cannot be realized. If something is deeply placed upon your heart, it is because it is meant for you. The question is not whether it can be yours, but whether you will allow yourself to receive it. To do so, you must match the inner state of someone who already has what they seek. You must think, feel, and act in harmony with the reality of fulfillment, rather than the reality of longing. This is where most struggle. They believe that desire alone is enough, but they fail to recognize the importance of inner alignment. They wish for love, but remain in a state of loneliness. They long for wealth, but entertain thoughts of lack. They seek success, but dwell in the belief that they are unworthy. In doing so, they unknowingly push their desires further away, for the universe does not respond to mere wanting, it responds to being. To claim what is yours, you must embody the state of having. You must assume with unwavering faith that what you desire is already on its way, not because you hope for it, but because you know it to be true. When you walk in this knowing, when you cease to question whether it will come and instead move as though it is inevitable, you shift your entire reality. The invisible forces that govern existence begin to align circumstances, people, and events in your favor. Doubt is the only thing that stands in your way. The moment you question whether your desire will manifest, you create distance. The moment you seek validation from the outside world before believing in your inner vision, you weaken the process. True creation does not begin in the external, it begins in the unseen. You must trust the process even when there is no visible evidence. You must remain unwavering even when reality appears unchanged. Those who understand this principle do not wait for proof. They do not look to their current circumstances for confirmation. They know that their inner world dictates the outer world, not the other way around. They hold their vision with confidence, refusing to entertain doubt. And in doing so, they allow the universe to deliver exactly what was promised. If something calls to you, if it stirs a fire in your soul, it is not there to torment you. It is not placed within you only to remain unfulfilled. It is your reality waiting to be recognized. The only thing left for you to do is step into the version of yourself that already has it. The universe has already said yes. The only question is, will you? Time is an illusion when it comes to the fulfillment of your desires. What you perceive as waiting is often just a reflection of your inner resistance. The universe is not withholding anything from you, it is responding to your state of being. If you believe that what you seek is far away, it will remain so. But if you embody the knowing that it is already yours, the illusion of time collapses, and what once seemed distant moves toward you with speed and certainty. Patience is not about passively waiting. It is about maintaining unwavering faith. Many misunderstand patience as simply enduring the delay, but true patience is a deep inner knowing, a quiet confidence that what is desired is already unfolding. It is the ability to stand firm in the conviction that all things are being arranged in perfect order, even when no visible evidence appears. When you wait in frustration, doubt, or anxiety, you stretch time. You send a signal to the universe that you do not fully trust in the process, and so the reflection you receive is one of delay. But when you relax into certainty, when you release the need to force, chase, or control, time bends in your favor. Think of the moments in your life when things seem to fall into place effortlessly. It was never during times of stress or desperation. It was when you were in a state of flow, detached from the outcome, trusting that all was well. This is the secret to collapsing time, moving from a state of wanting to a state of knowing. The moment you stop seeking something as though it is missing, and instead assume that it is already done, you enter the state of fulfillment. And in that state, the universe has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Many struggle because they believe that waiting means doing nothing. But the most powerful thing you can do while you wait is to live as though you already have what you desire, not in pretense, not in forced optimism, but in genuine faith. Faith is not merely hoping. It is being so sure of the outcome that doubt is no longer part of your reality. It is walking in the certainty that what you seek is already set in motion, already making its way to you. The more deeply you can feel this truth, the faster it materializes. Frustration is a sign that you are placing too much focus on the absence of what you desire. It is a signal that your attention is rooted in lack rather than fulfillment. The moment you shift your focus from "why isn't it here yet" to "I know it is already mine," everything begins to move. The shift may seem subtle, but its effects are profound. Imagine someone planting a seed in the ground. The wise gardener does not dig it up each day in impatience, demanding to see progress. He trusts that nature is working, that the roots are forming, that the seed will break through the soil in due time. If he were to disturb it, doubt it, or try to force it, he would only hinder its growth. Your desires work the same way. They need your trust, not your worry. The more you can live in the energy of already having, the more you accelerate the process. Those who master this art find that things begin to happen suddenly. What once seemed impossible falls into place effortlessly. This is not luck or coincidence. It is alignment. The universe is not making you wait to test you or to withhold from you. It is simply responding to your inner state. Align yourself with the feeling of already having, and time will cease to be an obstacle. The truth is, you are not waiting for your desires. Your desires are waiting for you. They are waiting for you to release resistance, to stop measuring time, to let go of desperation, and to fully embody the version of yourself that already possesses what you seek. When you do this, you will see how quickly the universe moves to deliver what has always been yours. What you see before you is not permanent. The circumstances you experience today are not a life sentence, nor are they a true reflection of your potential. Reality is fluid, always changing, always molding itself to the state of your consciousness. The mistake most people make is believing that what they see in the outer world defines what is possible for them. But the universe does not work according to logic or physical evidence. It responds only to your inner state. If you shift your mind, your reality must follow. Most people remain trapped in undesirable circumstances because they believe what their senses tell them. They look at their bank account and assume lack. They observe their relationships and accept loneliness. They experience setbacks and conclude that success is out of reach. But all of these are merely reflections of past assumptions. They are echoes of old thoughts, old beliefs, old states of being. To remain fixated on them is to keep recreating the same cycle. The key to transformation is to understand that your external world is nothing more than a projection of your internal world. Change within, and the outside must conform. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that logic dictates what is possible. The world teaches you that success requires years of struggle, that love is rare, that wealth belongs only to a select few. But these are merely collective beliefs, not universal truths. The universe does not operate based on human logic. It operates on consciousness. The moment you decide that your present circumstances do not define you, you open the door to a new reality. The moment you stop reacting to what is and start assuming what will be, the world around you begins to shift. Consider the stories of those who have risen from nothing, the people who went from failure to success, from poverty to wealth, from obscurity to greatness. What do they all have in common? It was not luck, nor was it mere hard work. It was a shift in consciousness. They stopped accepting their present conditions as truth. They saw beyond what was in front of them and held a vision of something greater. And because they persisted in that vision, the outer world had no choice but to rearrange itself to match their new state of being. This is the secret that most never grasp. Reality is not fixed. It does not have to make sense. What seems impossible today can be inevitable tomorrow if you assume it to be so. Your mind is the only thing that dictates the flow of your life. If you can hold a belief, if you can truly feel it as real, then the universe will conspire to make it so. But if you continue to identify with lack, struggle, and limitation, then those will be the only things reflected back to you. The greatest mistake you can make is to let your current circumstances define your future. Your job is not to fix the outside world. Your job is to shift your inner world. The moment you stop arguing for your limitations, the moment you stop reaffirming what you do not want, and instead begin to assume the feeling of already having what you desire, you step into a new reality. This is not wishful thinking, it is the foundation of creation. Everything you now experience was once a thought, a belief, an assumption. If you want something different, you must think, believe, and assume something different. The universe does not delay, it does not withhold, it simply responds. And when you finally accept that your present circumstances do not matter, that they are nothing more than a reflection of your past state, you free yourself to create the life you truly desire. Let go of what is, focus on what will be, live in the feeling of already having, and watch as the world bends to meet your new reality. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the doors of swift manifestation. When you embody the feeling of gratitude, not for what is on its way, but as though it has already arrived, you send a powerful signal to the universe. You declare that you are no longer waiting, no longer doubting, no longer hoping. Instead, you are living in the certainty that your desire is already yours. And because the universe mirrors your inner state, it rushes to confirm your assumption. Most people believe gratitude should come after receiving. They think, I'll be grateful when I get the job, the money, the relationship. But this is backward. Gratitude is not a reaction, it is a cause. It is a force that draws in more of what you are grateful for. When you feel gratitude before seeing the physical manifestation, you align yourself with the reality where your desire already exists. You collapse time, you dissolve resistance, you step into the state where the universe has no choice but to reflect your assumption back to you. The energy of gratitude is pure certainty. It carries no doubt, no worry, no lack. It does not plead or wish. It knows. And this is why it is so powerful. When you focus on something with deep gratitude, you multiply it. If you are grateful for abundance, abundance increases. If you are grateful for love, love expands. If you are grateful for opportunities, they appear effortlessly. The universe responds not to your words but to your state of being, and gratitude is the highest state of receiving. Many struggle with manifestation because they unknowingly dwell in lack. They affirm their desires while secretly believing they are far away. They visualize their dreams but feel the absence of them. They hope but they do not know. This keeps their desires in the future, always just out of reach. But the moment you shift into gratitude, the moment you act as though you already possess what you seek, the energy shifts instantly. The waiting ends, the delay dissolves, the universe moves. Think of a time when things seemed to unfold effortlessly for you. You were not chasing, not forcing, not doubting. You were simply in flow, feeling good, appreciating life, and suddenly opportunities appeared. People showed up, everything aligned. This was not a coincidence, it was the power of gratitude in action. When you are grateful, you are in a state of allowing. You are not resisting, not questioning, not blocking. You are receiving. And when you receive with gratitude, you receive more. Some believe they have nothing to be grateful for. They look at their current reality and see only lack. But gratitude is not about what is. It is about what is becoming. Even in the darkest moments, there is something to appreciate. The air you breathe, the lessons you've learned, the unseen forces working in your favor. When you begin to focus on what is good, no matter how small, you shift your vibration, and that shift is what creates transformation. The practice of gratitude does not require grand gestures. It requires only a decision to feel now as you would feel if your desire had already arrived, to wake up with the energy of fulfillment, to walk through the day with a quiet knowing, to end the night feeling deeply blessed. When you live this way, the universe aligns to match your state. You will notice doors opening, synchronicities increasing, manifestations unfolding faster than before. Gratitude is the secret to swift manifestation because it removes the illusion of separation. It bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It shifts you from waiting to receiving, from wanting to having. And the moment you embody this truth, the universe hastens to confirm it.